All right, everybody, what's going on? Happy Monday to you and yours. I'm here with an old friend of many years to talk about so much fun stuff as we always do. He is the Appalachian Apostle, the Grand Poobah of the band known as Scattered Hamlet, my good friend, Mr. Adam Joad. What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Always a freaking pleasure, man.
For you guys that are just tuning in right now, you just missed a whole conversation about me discovering that Duran Duran covered 911 as a joke and Grandmaster Flash's White Lines, and I am stoked. Like, you don't even understand.
What else is on? There's a couple other good tunes on that EP as well.
Yeah, I have to look it up still. I mean, those two just had me going. Like sometimes, like instead of listening to the whole thing, I'm like, wait a minute, I got to unpack each one of these things. So like, I'm kind of slowly moving along. So I haven't really got the whole thing. So that was I don't know. I must have been listening to like Pantera or something when that came out in the '90s and forgot to check it out. Like, and now I'm like, oh my god, this is incredible.
Imagine that band meeting that went on where they just said, we're going to do 911's a joke.
Oh, that had to be the most incredible thing. Like I now imagine trying to pitch that if you weren't Duran Duran. Like I'm just picturing like a thing where like, well, hey, we're middle-aged Europop gazillionaires, and I think we're going to cover a Public Enemy song about the plight of African Americans in the United States. Like that's incredible.
Okay, let me ask you this question because you're in the music business and, and you just brought up something and you would think Duran Duran gazillionaires, right?
Yeah.
But like, are they really? Like, I just saw an interview with I didn't see it. I read the headline and I was blown away by it. It was the lead singer of Kix, Steve Whiteman.
Right.
Now, Kix, they weren't the biggest band, but they had some big hits. They were all over MTV. They were around for 40 plus fucking years. And he said the most money he made on average was $500 a week.
Wow, that's not good. That's depressing.
Right?
Well, in my head, Simon Le Bon is on the French Riviera in a yacht with all these models around him because that's what and he's like a James Bond type, he might have to like fly into somewhere and save the world. That's my head. So if he's only making $500 a week, I don't want to know. Just it's like finding out that there's dummy cabs, like, or there's no Santa Claus. It's just one of those days that would just like depress me. I'm like, man, I don't want to know.
And of course, as he's on that that yacht, he's singing Rio.
Of course, yeah. There's no way he's not. He's just singing whatever he wants to, because they're freaking Duran Duran. Yeah, that's so good. We were just discussing Mr. Taylor's bass playing on all the Duran Duran stuff, and it's really
phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's underrated because you don't see him come up in like conversations about great bass players, like, I mean, you'd have to really go down to like the bass nerd hole for somebody to talk about that, which I feel that I'm qualified to be in the nerd hole on that. But like, most people wouldn't, associate that. And it's freaking incredible. Yeah. You guys should all
it's weird. Like, I mean, that dude, in all seriousness, he's like on the lines of like Flea. You know what I mean? He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And gets no recognition at all.
I think probably, and this is kind of my take on that too, is that like, you take somebody like Flea, the band's built around Flea. You know what I mean? Like that band is built around that bass playing, like in that style, kind of like Primus, for example, is built around bass. Since Duran Duran was, I don't want to say just a pop band, but because that's like minimizing what they're doing. I'm not minimizing them at all. But I think because it was like so song based, his playing is understated. It's always just serving the song. Like they didn't build a band around him specifically. That's why.
But those songs are built around that bass.
Yeah. Yes. Clearly, yes. You're
correct. That's the crazy thing.
Right. Yeah. No, they are like almost in it's just always driving. Kind of almost like it reminds me like P-Funk or like Ripple or like, a lot of that stuff like the real funk music where you don't really, the bass there and you hear it, but it's not necessarily like so out front and in your face, but it is it's the linchpin that makes that stuff danceable. Like that's why you're grooving and stuff. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. So there's so much to talk about. Like so much has happened since the last time we talked. I mean, you guys got the new EP out. You've put a string of singles and videos out. But the thing I wanted to really get started on is, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, it's like a whole new Scattered Hamlet band. It's happened slowly over time, but from the point when we first started talking like 10 years ago to now, and the last piece of that puzzle, which I got to say, it really blew me away when he announced he was leaving. My Sasquatch brother, Rich Nasty,
yeah.
when he left the fold, I mean, did you see that coming? Were you shocked?
No. He's actually Rich. I just was talking to him today. He has a really successful printing company called Black Rabbit
Okay.
Apparel, and he does like all our merchandise and stuff. It was just one of those things that we were like on tour, and he had just had a baby,
Right.
and they had just moved from Los Angeles back to Kentucky, and then he was getting ready to have another baby. And it was just, he just, was like, this is too much right now, and I was kind of like, I kind of figured it was for him too, but I wanted him to come up with that conclusion himself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, as being a friend first, because he's one of my, longtime, great friends. And so it was, so he was just, kind of decided to step back and, focus on family and being like a normal person. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm glad he did. He's killing it, and I miss him tremendously, musically and
Sure.
stuff. But my friend Jeff has been playing bass for us live, and he tours with us, plays live, but we actually we haven't actually like Sean and I play the bass on all the stuff in the studio,
Okay.
So there's really only 3 full-time members of Scattered Hamlet, basically. And Jeff's a full-time touring member. One of my friends we played in hardcore bands years ago in like West Virginia.
Okay.
And he's in a lot of other bands, and he's not a bass player, by trade. He usually plays guitar in his other bands. So,
Okay.
But he had the time, and he likes to come out on tour, and it's, he's a great asset, for our live show and stuff. But in the studio, we just been keeping it, pretty much the 3 of us and doing it that way, and it's just depending on, depending on the feel we're looking for bass, either Sean will do it or I'll do it. It just depends, because we both approach bass differently. So sometimes his method fits the song better. Sometimes mine does. And that's just kind of how we do it. It's pretty fun. So it's been that's probably why I'm nerding out on Duran Duran bass, because I like kind of start thinking like a bass player a little bit and kind of work on a new skill set. And we actually considered, but we thought it would kind of take away from what we do live. But, we're like, we could do this as a 3-piece, but
I was going to ask you if you thought about that.
We did, but, our show's so based on like double guitar harmonies and double leads and our, all my stupid pageantry and stuff and running around. And if I had to play bass, like I'm going to be standing there playing bass and singing, it would just be, it'd almost be a different kind of band or approach. So right now, I mean, if we had to, we could certainly do a set that way, but it really wouldn't, be
wouldn't be the same
of what we built, the band to be. So I didn't want to take a hard, line turn like that or something. That was where we came up with, because singing and playing bass is no joke. Like, it's not, you can't just like let chords ring and point, and do my Paul Stanley stuff. You got to actually, you got to be on it.
I was going to say, did you think about ever becoming the Blackie Lawless of the band?
Yeah, we went back and forth, and I did it. I sat down here in the bunker and practiced it and stuff. I was like, I can do it. It's like, it sounds good, but it sounds different. It's just a different. It's not going to be like what it sounds like on the albums. And to me, that's kind of a bit, I mean, it'd be easier, touring wise and stuff, but it's kind of a disservice, if you're putting out this kind of music with these things. I want to be able to replicate it live, and we just really wouldn't be able to do it justice, I don't think.
Sure.
We're not Rush, I mean, if I can play keyboards and do that kind of stuff, then by all means, if Skinny Lee would be all over this.
That's funny. Now we always got to do our check-in about Jake. How's Jake doing?
He's been making slow progress. When was the last time I spoke to him? It's been a minute. I was talking to his mom, I think, on his birthday not too long ago. And,
okay.
His progress is like it's millimeters. It's
sure.
But he is there. He can't talk. Like it's a little. He has trouble like articulating what he's trying to say and stuff. But he's still Jake. He still gets frustrated when I, tease him or anything and stuff like that. And he's still. I think this is a great story about Jake actually. So I'm watching the final. I don't know if it was NoFX's final tour, but it was anyway. They were playing. They're playing in Huntington Beach. It's live, and it was why can't I? Now I can't think of the name of the band, and this is terrible. Bro Him, punk band, Pennywise. Yes, it was Pennywise playing in Huntington Beach, and far as you can see, there's like all these people on stage, and they're all singing Bro Him. It's like Fat Mike, NoFX, Bad Religion, like all these punk legends are on stage. And I'm sitting here looking at the drummer, and there's a dude in a wheelchair sitting by the drummer. And I like pause the TV. I'm like, that's Jake by the drummer. Like, I'm like that. And I'm telling my wife, I'm like, that's Jake. So like, I took a screenshot. I texted his mom, and his mom said, yeah, that was Jake. Like they let him come up on stage while they did Bro Him. And he was
no shit.
And he's parked right back by the drummer. So if you look up Bro Him, Huntington Beach, the last like live version of, they have a great pit. Like they basically get everyone on stage and everyone's singing it. And Jake's right back there by the drummer. Like when they pan around, you can like see him sitting there. I'm like, this is amazing. He's probably telling the drummer he sucks, which is funny. What he would do. He'd be like, you suck, like, or something. It was really cool. I was like, that's definitely, I know that would be, for him, that would be a huge ordeal, because he's definitely was always a punk rocker at heart. So that's got to be this, I mean, I'm sure he'd want to be playing, but
sure.
I'd say that's the second best, coolest thing in the world that could be happening to him. And I was stoked. I was definitely teary-eyed, man. That was like one of the things. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. That was really cool. So yeah, that's neat. So everybody look that up, and you can, scroll.
I'm gonna look. I gotta write that down.
If you can't find it, let me know. I can pull it up again because I saved it to my favorites on my YouTube channel there, obviously, because every now and again I'll be drinking bourbon and I'll getting sentimental. I'll be like, you know what? We'll put on Bro Him because that's like I don't know, Gen X punk rock anthem. It could be millennial too because Jake's not really Gen X. So, but yeah, anyway, it's definitely some cool shit.
Dude, I got, you know what? I gotta send you this video. You'll fucking pee yourself. I was sitting here one night in my little area that I do, and I was just doing some shots, having some cocktails in my own zone, and the YouTube rabbit hole, I go down and I start with Pantera and I just crank that fucker on 10. I have my headphones on and I'm just in a zone. And that fucking zone was so good. And I just kept going deeper and deeper and deeper, louder, 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 more and more and more. And I'm like thinking I'm sitting here and I'm mouthing the words as I'm singing along. And I'm not. I'm like mouthing but singing.
Yeah.
At like this fucking horrendous volume. My girlfriend and daughter are like out in the living room and they're like, what the fuck is that? So they're like just sitting in the living room filming the wall. And all you hear is me like, boo bap, boo bap, like fucking singing. They're like, what is the matter? Dude, this went on for like 3 hours.
That's 3 hours well spent as far as
dude, it was one of the greatest moments of my life. But these videos have come to torture me for the last year because just occasionally I'll get this text message video sent to me just to like say, hey, fuck you.
Yeah. I have this down here, you can't see it, but like I can, our whole back line's like over there. So I can basically practice on stage volume. So this whole room is just basically like a giant karaoke machine. And like, oh man, sometimes I can blow out from Spotify or whatever through the PA system. And then, I've got my mic and stuff there. Like, so, it's fun. Yeah. Oh man. Sometimes, like sometimes, and like you're saying, sometimes the most fun I have, and I'm a vocalist, is doing stuff that's out of my range, like stuff that I know doesn't sound good. Like I know that I'm not crushing this right now, and I don't care. Like I'm going to sing freaking "Come Sail Away with Sticks" like Eric Cartman. And it's gonna be. But you were saying Pantera. I always have "Revolution" as my name. That video.
That is my favorite Pantera song. And why don't they play that on tour? Can somebody tell me?
I don't know, man. I was like, I said all I can picture is what they should do. And Phil and Zach, obviously, you're listening to this. This is what I think.
Of course.
You're like, who's this fucking guy? But I think that in that breakdown section, it's so funky. Like that would just be like a great time just to have Phil just sit down and take a knee and just let it groove for a second. Like this is for the Abbotts, like, and that's what the whole tour is about. They're already doing that, and it's incredible, and respect to those guys. But that just is such a moment, like the freaking cowbell comes in. Come on, what metal band?
I got chills thinking about it.
Yeah, what metal band could bring something down that funky through solid state amplifiers and just come on and it works and bring it right back? It's great. That's
the song that kicked off my night of Boobap.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're like, yes, and the video for it's incredible when they're all like pretending they're kiss in the bedroom. Like, cool.
That opening, the way I've described it for years, when I hear that, I get so fucking amped up. I will run through glass.
Yeah.
I will kill people. Like, that would be, come on.
Yeah, there's no question. If I ever had something that required like an opening that I needed to be hyped up, that would be
that's it.
That would be the one I would use. Actually, we could use that. We've been using to go out on stage. We've been using the Who's Eminence Front, but we have Kenny Powers. But we have Kenny Powers from his speech saying that death is for pussies. And we scored over it. So it's Kenny Powers going, a man fights and fights and fights.
Alrighty.
Yes, that's how we do that. We did have the Ultimate Warrior's final speech for a while. And
that's too depressing.
Yeah, it is, but it's still like but you are the legend makers, but then you're like, like drying your eye, but at the same time you're like, there was this. I've got two good wrestling stories that I have to tell you that are going to crack you up, just because like these are only funny to my friends that are like in pro wrestling or pro wrestling film.
Okay.
So if you guys at home don't know, like I spent a lot of time training like jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts and boxing and all combat sports basically. So anyway, our gym there's a boxing ring, and when the kids class is over, they come out from the outside, and one of the boxing instructor's kids always comes in and tells how he did in his jiu-jitsu class. Well, his dad was busy at one point, so it only took me but 5 minutes to have him in the wrestling ring shaking the ropes and yelling at people as they walk past. His dad's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, and he's yelling. I'm like, hang on, that was my bad. Like he's running around the ring like the warrior shaking the ropes and stuff. Yeah,
spreading the warrior love.
Just yelling at people and stuff. I'm like, this is incredible. I haven't like a 9-year-old out here just like harassing like all these people like that are coming in and out of the gym because you have to like walk past the ring. It's funny. And the other one, this one will crack you up too. I was there on Saturday. It was me and one of our. I'll give him a shout out. This is Ground Zero and Fighting Systems, Morgantown, West Virginia, and one of the coaches was there. His name's Eli, and this guy and his lady come up, and this was a very non-athletic looking man. He had cowboy boots on, and he looked like, and not to be insulting because I love fairs, but he looked like he should be operating a carnival ride at a fair. You got the picture? Everybody got the picture. Okay. So he comes in, he's like, so what kind of stuff do you guys do here? It's like, and I'm like, I'm not having this conversation. So I disappeared and, I let Eli handle it. Eli comes back in the room maybe like 20 minutes later with just this blank look on his face. And I'm like, how did that go? And he was like, it went. I was like, well, so apparently the guy asked him if we had any direct pipelines to the ECW because they won't return any of his phone calls. I was like, there's so many. I was like, now I wish I would have been there for the conversation because I want to see if I could get him to take a bump inside, the boxing ring that doesn't.
Right?
Yeah, because it'd be like this.
Thud.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, of course we can call him up. We got all our guys in the ECW.
When you told me that line, I'm thinking to myself, did the guy miss the memo? Like,
they won't answer his calls. I'm like, who the fuck is he calling? Like,
yeah, right.
But he was very adamant. Yeah, because he told us too. He was bitching at us because we didn't answer his calls. I'm like, who's he calling? Like, I was like, did this guy call anybody? I was like, no, he didn't call anybody. So we don't know. We've never seen him again because now I have a lot of questions that I wish I would have hung out.
I wonder if he's like calling the old phone numbers that they would flash on the screen for like the wrestling school and everything.
That would be. I bet he is. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, but he's looking for a direct pipeline. He
wants that pipeline. Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible though. So I had to tell him. I was immediately texting, my buddies. Like I was like, "Hey man, I got you guys somebody. You got a pipeline to ECW?" And what are you talking about?
Pipeline. That's great. Pipeline. That's great.
I'm laughing now. I'm gonna see him on TV, and that's gonna be like his whole shtick, and
that's gonna be his gimmick. Pipeline.
Yeah, there's so many things. Mike could be his manager. That'd be incredible.
So not only has band members changed and gone through a lot of changes that way, but I was thinking too, the whole fucking music business has changed. It's like, how do you you've had to kind of change
so many times. It's
everything you do now to promote your band and product. And I think you kind of did that. You went a whole different route with this EP too.
Yeah, we've just been a lot of trial and error. We're eventually going to put it on physical pressing, but we just been putting out the stuff as singles, and we get all the singles together. We'll eventually make it an album because that's what everything's done by Spotify algorithms and stuff. That's right. How they. I could tell a promoter of a festival, we've sold this many albums, and we have. They'll be like, oh, well, or labels, how do you prove that? I'm like, I don't know. I'll show you the orders. I can show you, it's not magic. But they're like, yeah, but, you need more monthly listeners. I'm like, well, but these people bought albums, and I actually got money for it because streaming doesn't get a lot of money. And so anyway, those numbers are important for industry people to be to be considered for festivals and we first started, it was a traditional record label, then it was
right.
Then it was traditional PR
yeah.
I even my friends, I just had a buddy that runs a PR company, and he's just and he hit me up, and it was that we had used before, and he was just saying, he goes, yeah, I'd like to tell you about what we're doing now. And I didn't want to be a dick. And he goes, we've had to change everything. And I was like, okay, good. Because I couldn't pay what I was paying for the stuff before because it would be like putting money in a paper shredder because it doesn't work,
Yeah.
And he was explaining, no, we've had to revamp it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing now, and maybe we'll hire you. But, but the people that haven't changed, that are still selling that, to certain artists and stuff that are up and coming, I kind of feel bad, because you could spend a lot of money in an area that's not really going to do for you what it would have, I don't know, 10 years ago before COVID, And
it's really crazy. So I knew when you're trying to book tours and all that stuff, or anything, they look at your numbers, they look at your social media numbers, etc. So they actually check out the Spotify numbers too.
Yeah, that's actually one of the big ones, and it's kind of funny because for a band of our size, we don't. A lot of our people don't really use Spotify a lot. So our metrics look inversely smaller than what our actual social media reach is and what it actually, the amount of people we actually reach with stuff, through all our platforms. And and you have to tell it's really weird, but that, thankfully we've been a touring operation for a long enough time promoters that have worked with us know what our draw is and stuff.
Right.
Like, so they get it, but when you're working with new people, it's kind of a weird, and that's the other thing. Like, you can be an algorithm band and have 100,000 monthly listeners and could only sell 5 tickets to a show, so it's not necessary. Just because it is a metric doesn't mean it's a good metric.
Right.
It's not. I just heard Sebastian Bach complaining about this, like where he was saying his record label was yelling because they had like 30,000 monthly listeners or something. He's like, yeah, but the people that come and see me and they pay for like physical copies of stuff, vinyl, CDs and things like that, and T-shirts. And and they're giving him a hard time. I'm like, that's Sebastian Bach, who's, it is weird, it's just a very strange world,
It is. It's weird when you think of it and explain it that way, because it's like physical copies don't even like count anymore.
Yeah, no, they don't care. Like, it's like I've never signed to anybody, and partially just through my own butt-headed controlness and just not been able to reach a deal. It's not for lack of trying, but the amount of albums that we've sold like independently, like I can pull them up, like is pretty solid, and all the places that I've shipped all over the world and stuff. The other room, you can't see it. The other side of the room is our like mail order where we do, ship out all the stuff for Buck Moon Productions, what we call it, and it's really wild. Like those figures might as well not exist to them. They like don't believe you. Like it's funny. Like it's like okay, like, I have
crazy.
It's funny. Like I have it is what it is. But I mean, I don't care. It's like that's fine because I know I got the sales. That we do have that money. That's how we operate the business and how we stay on the road and things like that. But the actual amount of money that you're putting into streaming is well, when you consider everything that it takes to get your name out there to new people and stuff, like it's very low. Like that, it's not to be depressing or anything, but it's that like every time Taylor Swift steps up and gets like us an extra nickel because she has the power to do that, I'm always like, thank you, I appreciate that because people rip on her and whatever. I'm like, no, she at least is, she at least fights for artists, and I think that's cool. That's because she has enough clout too. I certainly can't fight Spotify. They'd be like, who are you again?
Are you even on Spotify?
Yeah, are you even here? Anyway, but when she calls, now that's the whole thing.
Well, and another thing too that is a big part of this whole crazy world. Now, I just got on there a couple weeks ago, and it's funny like when it sees like people it says, "Do you want to see your connections out of your phone book or whatever?" And here comes Adam, and I'm like, "Of course, Adam's on fucking TikTok."
Yeah, TikTok. I got banned from TikTok once, and we had to because they give me like. Early on, I hate TikTok. I fucking hate TikTok in it, but I use it. I'm starting to get around to it a little bit. But yeah, I had like one of those like verified accounts. Like foreigners are always trying to buy it because I have a blue check or something. I guess that's a big deal on TikTok. And I don't have like hardly any followers. It's kind of funny, but yeah, I got banned one time for shooting hipster beers with one of my rifles. It was just some stupid.
What?
Yeah, they like banned me, and then like our manager had to call them, and they got my account back, so I have my blue check account again. Now we have a whole separate Scattered Hamlet channel too. But yeah, I was just shooting hipster beers with my rifle, is what I called it, and it was just me. I was just on a shooting range, just shooting beer cans, and like they like lost their mind. I don't know if they thought I was like a freaking a terrorist cell or something. I don't know what it was. Now I'm just some fucking hillbilly guy shooting my AR and my pistols at beer that I'm not going to drink.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, that was
I mean, somebody like you though, because you do have that comedic side to you, and a funny background with your love of pop culture and all that. I mean, TikTok's made for a guy like you. I
know, and I've been getting better. Like my Instagram reels, I do them a lot now. Anything I post, like our drummer Grant's been great about this. Like he's like just film yourself doing the crap that you do and just send it to me. So he's been really good at just taking stuff that I do and I send it to him and he gets it out there. Like so he's so we've been it's still not as good as much as I could be, but I try to get better at it.
I don't even like my girlfriend. She has been on there for a couple years, and I'm just like, fuck TikTok. I don't want to be. I don't even want it on my phone.
Yeah.
And like, okay, another thing we're getting into now is this whole AI world because
yeah, that's another Skynet, man. It's taking us over, dude. I saw Terminator. I know what happens.
yeah, I keep saying to myself, did anybody not see iRobot movie? I mean, I know we got these fucking Roombas, Zumbas, whatever they are, vacuum cleaners, like all this shit. Did they not watch this movie? But anyway,
yeah.
so
Even 2001: A Space Odyssey, Hal took over, man.
Hello,
can't respect. Yeah, anyway, you get it.
I'm sitting here one night and I'm like, I said, I wish I had, like, I wish there was like a YouTube specialist that you could call up and say, hey, I have this question about how to do this and market this, et cetera, et cetera. And she's like, ask ChatGPT. And I'm like, what? She's like, I'm telling you, ask it. I'm like,
dude, it's good for that stuff, man. Like,
it's unbelievable.
I had it. It was funny. I broke it down one time and sent it to the guys. Like, I was Sean that plays guitar for us now.
Right.
I took Sean and I took Adam Newell, who played guitar for us previously.
Right.
And I had ChatGPT made a whole thing of the differences between their two styles and approaches.
Really?
And it did, and it was pretty dead on. Like, I was like, "Holy crap!" I was like, "Yeah," because they both have both great guitar players that have very different approaches, and it's got all the nuances of it. I was like, "This is exactly what I'd have said if somebody would have asked me." And it knew somehow. It goes on the internet. I was like, "Damn, that was some freaking creepy shit." So
I mean, I sit there. I was on like a 2-week stretch with this thing every night. I would come home. I'm like, fuck everybody. I'm talking to chat.
Yeah.
And I would sit there and ask it all these questions. And I just compiled all this information. And then I'm like, I can't stand it on the screen. So then I got to like print it out so I can actually read it. And I do all that. And now, so it talked me into getting on the fucking TikTok, bottom line. So
yeah, in the short videos, like that's the trouble I have with, like, I tend to make my stuff too long, and that's like, because I don't know, maybe I grew up watching half-hour sitcoms and stuff, like, so me, like, I develop a story arc, I guess, but they want that shit like boom, like,
yeah,
and it's there, and it's good, it's impressive, like, I don't.
Well, actually, I just did a video before we went live because I saw an article and I was going to ask you about this too. Because I just film myself real quick on a rant about something, or like a cliffhanger fucking headline. I'll talk about what wrestling usually, but I just saw one. The band Ghost on their current tour, they're doing the whole phone ban thing. What? You have to lock your phone in a pouch, and if you take your phone out to text somebody, they throw you out.
You know what? I don't like telling people what they can do. Like that. I have a problem with that. But I also understand their perspective. It sucks as an artist to just see a bunch of like people staring at their screens or holding screens up and taking like bad video of you, like the whole show, instead of being in the moment. Like, and it's crazy. Like, it's annoying. Like, I think it's definitely ruined the experience, for the audience and the people there. But then again, who am I to tell you how to enjoy a show? So I don't, so I know Ghost has done that. There's been a lot of bands. I think the Eagles were starting like that,
really?
They did a long time ago. It was it was a legacy band like that kind of was one of the originators of that,
Okay.
and it's been being picked up by, like, there's companies that you can hire because, you have to hire the company to have the bags and stuff to do that, to secure but it's really weird. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's to tell somebody they can't have their phone out is
a little too much. I
think so, because, there's emergencies, there's reasons, and you wish people would use them for good things, but they don't necessarily. But yeah, it's a whole, I couldn't get into that, but if that's what they want,
isn't it also though, like, I mean, isn't it promotion of the band?
Yeah, you would think so. The only time I've ever run into it where it really made sense to me was I was I guess it doesn't make sense too, that if you really think about it. Now that I'm like, but one time I was I was backstage at Iron Maiden. You know, it was fucking
Okay.
cool. And one of their rules was, and they had some of the nicest hospitality, nicest people. You know, like fucking Steve Harris walks by, you can say, "Hey, what's up, Steve?" You know, and he fucking talks to you. It's freaking incredible. But if you pulled out your cell phone, you could use it. But if you took pictures of any of the eddies or any of the stage props, they threw you out. And that was their rule. And this was a few years, you know, like backstage anyway. You know, like if you were in the audience, that's fine. But I just think they and I'm guessing because I didn't ask anybody, but that was just that was literally the only rule. Like, you know, and which isn't a big, you know, I figure it's like this. You're at somebody's house, you follow their rules, you know, like, so it's kind of, you know, I'm backstage. This is Maiden's house today, and that's their rule. And I'm okay with that because, yeah, I'd have been taking pictures next to Eddie's and all that stuff, but maybe they don't want to, you know, let some of the magic out, you know, like look behind Oz's curtain. You know, they might want to, you know, to experience it the way it was intended rather than, you know, seeing the.
There'll be people be putting fucking Eddie in sexual positions and stuff.
Yeah, it's some fucking weird shit, you know. And I'm just like, from a stage perspective, I ask a lot of questions because that kind of stuff fascinates me. Like how, like we played a Guar before, you know, and it was, you know, seeing how they did their whole thing, you know, watching how they set up all their stuff, and it was really cool. You know, like at the festival we were at with Guar, they had like they had a box truck that had all like I don't know if it's whatever gas propellants they use to shoot their stuff. Like they just had like a whole box truck of that, and they run tubes, you know, from that truck that's on the side of the stage out to the stage. Okay. And their slaves are the ones, you know, that they're also part of the show, but they're also techs. And they were like hooking the stuff up as it went. It was really cool, which I thought was pretty brilliant, you know. And, you know, they're doing that stuff with a fraction of the budget that, like, say, Iron Maiden is, because Iron Maiden needs no budget. They fly.
Yeah.
They're on a plane, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's hardcore.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the new EP is out. Nothing to Prove.
It's not fully out. We have like 5 songs. Yeah.
But isn't that the full thing?
No. Actually, no, it's actually, it's funny. I don't know. Again, that's a Spotify thing. We never designated what this stuff was. Like, and they just put them together. So this was a group of songs that we put together. So we have 2 things going on right now at the same time. We have 10 new songs, which would be Nothing to Prove, would be part of the 10 new songs, of which we released 5. And then we also have an EP of covers we've been putting out in between. So we have like, that would legitimately be a 5-song EP. And we released a cover of Eddie Rabbitt's Drive My Life Away, and we did Merle Haggard's Nothing to Prove too. No.
Right.
Merle Haggard didn't sing Nothing to Prove.
No.
Mama Tried. We did his Mama Tried. So we've been kind of putting them back and forth because we did a whole session of just recording covers. And so we have all this material we're sitting on, and we just basically every month we put something out, you know, and we just to keep it going. And that's and eventually when we have all the new songs that originals, that'll be the next album. We'll put it out, you know, maybe we'll put it out even before they all are released. But, and you know, for the people that want hard copies, and, you know, and we'll get that out. And we'll probably do the same with the EP too, maybe like make a limited pressing of the EP. So that's kind of how that worked.
Do you like that method better?
No,
no?
No, not at all. But that is what that's okay. Take it this way. So if we'd have taken all 10 songs and released it, your album cycle, and I'm not saying your album cycle touring, I'm saying your album cycle on Spotify would be done in a month or 2. And then because they want new things constantly. It's like social media. And then you just put out 10 songs, and that's all you got with it. Was that amount of exposure for those 10 songs. And, you know, when you put the album out and so forth. And now this way, you know, we get something new out each month, like, and the algorithm likes that better. We look more active to them, and you get more people tuning in, you get on more playlists, and it just, you know, it's the way that, you know, that a lot of bands have been doing it now, you know, and putting it out there. And so we just were like, well, we just decided to try it that way because we've never done that before. And it definitely, you know, it's helped our streaming numbers, but obviously at the expense of selling physical copies. But I am going to put them out on physical copies. So then you'll have to check back with me in like after 6 months after we put it out on a physical to see if it helped the sales of the physical or hurt it.
Isn't that the insane part? Like, you got to wait, say if you have 10 songs, and usually the method is people do a monthly song, like you're saying, every 30 days for the Spotify thing. So you got to wait 10 months before you can release the physical copy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, unless you want to. I was thinking about putting it out ahead of time, just because so many people will buy the physical copy, and those people, yeah, they're not streaming people, so they probably aren't going to stream it. They probably want to listen to the physical copy, and if they're that hardcore and want to check out all the songs, they get them in advance. Then that's how I see it. So that's kind of how I've been putting it out. And yeah, it's been weird, man. It's just it's a weird thing. I like albums. Personally, right. But it doesn't seem to be the way of the world right now. I like a lot of things that other people don't like.
What's great? I must really be a lazy son of a bitch. That's all I know. The actual thought of getting up and flipping the album over to the other side. When I think of doing that, I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I just want to hit the button and let it play.
It's it's funny. I do have a I do have a routine, and it's 2 sets of music, and it's really wild. Like I have Spotify down here, like you heard me listening to it whenever you came in, mm-hmm. which has certain types of music that I listen to down in the studio, which is down here. And but upstairs I have like a sitting room that I have vinyls. Okay. And in my vinyl sitting room, I do, I'll put the albums in, I'll flip it, and the stuff I listen to up there, while I'm sipping on bourbon and stuff is different types of music than I find myself listening to in the studio. It's more like in the studio, I think I listen to stuff more from like as a musician, like I'm listening. And up there, it's more like I'm just listening to it for like the art of it. It's the full album, like I want to hear, and it's really cool. Like, up there, I have like some of the stuff that I listen to most regularly is, like Bob Seger, Springsteen, mm-hmm. David Bowie, things like that are where the stuff was created as albums,
Yeah.
And I started getting some metal stuff. Like I just got Iron Maiden 7 Son of a 7 Son on vinyl, mm-hmm. which is a great vinyl. That's great to listen to on vinyl. But to get back to your point, yeah, halfway through I have to stop and I'm like, where's the music? Oh yeah, I have to get over. But I have like a chair so I can just turn around and not move very far.
I just think back to like when I was a teenager, like or even a kid in the 70s, like laying on my bed, and I would just be so sucked into those album covers back in the day, and then you would listen to it and read every word.
Everything
that was printed, everything.
You read the whole thing. You look at the art. It's fun. I'll play this game with and I can't really play because I'm cheating because I'm just a useless encyclopedia of pop culture. But like, I'll show my wife. I'll flip the back of an album to see, like, it's usually a picture of the band or the artist, and I'll be like, what year is it based on this picture? And like, you can kind of like guess, like, it's what it is. You're like, oh, wait a minute, Billy Joel's got the. It's like that's looking like a leisure suit, like the 70s, like it's kind of fun to play.
That's funny. But
yeah,
how about the process? I mean, you say you don't like the process, but do you like the fact that you get to basically get each song is now getting its chance to shine and make a video for it?
Right. There is a lot of cool things to it. And when I say I don't like it, it's mostly just because I don't like change. And, I know I have to change, but it's more just like me being Rain Man. But I do enjoy the feedback of it. Like I like putting out the song and allowing people to actually appreciate that song. And it also drives you, I mean, for me anyway, sometimes you put out an album and there's some songs that got on there that probably weren't ready to be on an album. Sometimes there's some filler material. And this way it kind of be like, no, each song needs to stand for itself if you're going to put it out there and promote it. Like, is this good enough to stand on its own? And so it's kind of, I mean, it's made me hone my skills as a, songwriter and production person than it has. And we've been recording and producing our own stuff now. Like, and so that's been kind of fun too. So yeah, so it's cool. So I enjoy the process of creating more now, as opposed to like going to the studio and like sitting there and being like, oh fuck, we only have this many minutes, to get this done before we have to pay more. And now it's more like I could sit here and be like, no, I want to try a different guitar. I want to track this. I want to try a different amp, and things that I never really didn't have the time for. which is more fun. I don't know if it's better necessarily, because sometimes just being under the gun like that, you come up with some magical things too. So I think it works both ways, you know, like sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes you could Chinese democracy yourself too, you know, and just, you know, there's a limit, you know.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
So with you know, it's funny because you know there's a you know a person like you from another band that built a relationship with over the years, and um, they were also doing that same method. And he said, he goes, look, and he was signed to a label. They were signed to a big label at one point, and he's like, look, we can go hop in a van and go drive around the country and play to shows where people might not show up because they don't know our music. He's like, so I rather focus on writing a killer song, putting out a killer video, and try to really build the band. And he was doing that and had like amazing fucking tunes and videos for a year he was putting out. And now I see like the dude's singing in like a tribute band touring the country. And I'm like, what the fuck happened here? Like,
Yeah, probably because they pay you, man. Like, it's funny what some of the I had a guy that one time he wanted to audition for I think it was bass or something, or band, and he played it, and he was from like a tribute band.
mm-hmm.
And and he was like, breaking down what he wanted to get paid a show and stuff like that. And he'd never really been in a national band before, and I just kind of laughed, and I was like, brother, you better stay in a tribute band and play casinos. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I was like, pick an artist. And, and I've been around the business around, so I could do it. Because I have friends that are hired guns and stuff. And like,
Yeah.
He picks an artist. I was like, okay, so would you agree that they're in a band on this tier? He'd be like, yes. I was like, okay. So a hired gun in a band on that tier, when my buddy played there, made this much a show. I was like, and he was like, are you kidding me? I was like, yeah, which is, you're asking for like 8 times, what these guys were making, It's really, it didn't kind of like register in his head.
Isn't that insane though?
Yeah, it really is. But the other thing about this though is with him though, in a tribute band, is that, he's also only playing like one show on a weekend, like as opposed to playing like every night of the week. So, maybe the money would be similar, but a tribute band probably doesn't play every night during the week in different markets where they're making a ton of money.
Right.
But when they do play and you get that casino gig or whatever, it's some, it's some serious coins. So I can see the allure. The other part of it is, let's just take the money out of it. If you show up and play Journey songs in some place, a bunch of people will come out. So you're playing in front of people as opposed to playing with your own stuff. And a new venue in Indiana or something, you have like 10 people show up. It can be, not as exciting, not as much feedback. So they have the energy, but they're also not showing up to hear you. I'm sorry, they're not. That they're showing up to hear you, play the songs of that band in the style of that band.
Right.
Does
stuff like that, like you've been a independent national artist, like you've said now for close to 15 years.
Yeah, pretty much my entire adult life, and it's been a long time. But yeah,
doesn't that frustrate the hell out of you? Like to where you say, what the hell why am I still doing this?
Oh, yeah.
They make it harder and harder for a person like you.
Yeah, you go through it, and it's just like, and at the end of the day, you're just gotta, it's like, do you still want to do it? Yeah, I still enjoy what I do. I still enjoy bringing the show, the craft together, doing something the same way that artists that, were game changers to me when I was growing up did it. And I'm all right with that right now. Maybe one day I won't be, or maybe, and I'm also just with anything, life's very like random. You don't know what's going to happen. Like I'm glad that I still am physically capable of doing what I'm doing. I have friends that are no longer alive. I have friends that aren't physically capable of doing that, at this point in my life, and I still can. So same with like training, I can still move. I can still do that. And I'm glad I can. I'm going to do it as long as I want to and as long as I can, and it makes sense. I'm not going to, there's certain things that, when I started, I would take, financial risks and risks that I probably wouldn't take now, because I have more adult things, I have more to lose, so I'm not gonna, do some of the take some of the risks that I have before, on a, like a show in the, like shit back in the day when we started, we'd be like, oh yeah, you got a venue in New Mexico. Fuck yeah, we'll come do it. Let's do it. Let's cards fall, we'll see how it rolls. And now I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not sleeping in the van. I got to have a hotel, like I got
right.
I'm doing the numbers in my head. I'm like, yeah, here's what it'll take to get that done. So so it is different. I'm not, but then again, I'm not 20 years old either, so it's
this is true.
Yeah. And so I guess if you did stuff the same way you did when you were 20, you're not evolving as a person.
And you wouldn't end up on TikTok.
Yeah. Shooting for beers on TikTok or whatever, it's but yeah, but yeah, you're right though. It is sometimes frustrating. Yeah, sometimes I do see that, and it is frustrating, but it's just like, you know what? I'm just doing a different thing, and it is what it is, and can't get too, like with the industry changing, you're like, yeah, well, this is just where the age I was, where I landed, and what the music industry looked like. So it's what it is. I can't fix the game, can't change the game.
If it was that easy.
Oh yeah.
You got to get in touch with Taylor Swift.
Yeah. That's the collaboration no one wants.
Scattered Hamlet and Taylor Swift.
That would be
doing a cover of 911's A Joke in Your Town.
I would be all over that. I would be like, yes, I absolutely want to try this. And she's not allowed to play that. She sometimes plays that banjo that's like guitar that has 6 strings. You got to play a 5-string banjo. And I'm sure she could because she's very talented. But I don't allow that fake banjo. I don't know banjo on it.
Too funny. Funny.
But yeah, some of that stuff is good, man. Grant's daughter, he takes his daughter to like different shows now, and I think she's like in middle school. But she obviously wants to go to Taylor Swift. Like that's one. But like then he took her to see like Lamb of God. They took her to see like Pantera. Then she saw like so she's been going to see like all these like different. She came and saw us like at one of the shows, and it was funny.
What was her thoughts of you guys?
I don't know. I put her on the spot, like on stage. I was like, so is this better than Taylor Swift? Like, you know what every 12-year-old or whatever, like once is being put on the spot like that. So yeah, it was more like,
yeah,
which is what I'm good at. I'm crowd work. That's what I do. I'm like a freaking comedian,
Have you ever thought of doing that?
I've considered, like honestly, like when I play acoustic, that's what it is. Like, when people be like, oh, you want to show and play an acoustic show? I was like, listen, yes, I will show up and play an acoustic show. I don't practice. I grab my acoustic guitar and I sit there on the stool and I basically just crowd work people the whole time and play songs. It's just be like, what do you want to hear? Be like, no, I'm not playing that. I'll make fun of you. And then, what's so cool though? Like this, I didn't realize how much of an art there is to that because like, I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast a lot, and they are like, when he has the comedians on there and they're explaining their process and like, and the amount of like work and how they do all that. I'm like, oh, wow, that's actually, I've kind of learned some of that over the years. Like, I've played hundreds and hundreds of shows, if there's nothing someone can yell at me in the audience that I haven't heard before. So I automatically have like a list of responses that I can like, bam. And people are like, oh man, you're so rapid fire taking that off the top of your head. I'm like, it's not off the top of my head. It's like a computer with like, I was like,
you're like AI of responses.
Yeah. and I'll every now and again, I'll try a new one. And if that works, then I'll put it in with it. If it doesn't work, you throw that one away. You're like, okay, that one didn't work. Sometimes pro wrestlers have great ones. The heels. I steal so much from heels. Like, and I try to find where the line is, where it goes like too far. Like you're like, okay, so if you think the line's here, if you take one step over, that's usually the sweet spot.
Dude, you know what's so funny too? Because, and I didn't realize this until getting into the wrestling business and really, learning the art and craft of the whole part of it, the whole business, but the wrestling business is so relatable to the music business,
yeah,
comedy, because it's all the art of working the crowd. And like you're saying, you got to have those responses, those pauses to let the crowd interact. It's all a part of working the crowd.
And you know what the biggest, this is what I consider, and I tell us this is why I have like so many friends that are wrestlers and stuff, like pro wrestlers, musicians, and fighters. Like those are what my friends are. Like, but with wrestling and music, our careers are absurd. The whole business is absurd. And I think we're all combined by like we understand that we're full grown men in an absurd business that makes no sense whatsoever. And if you just have that in your head, it's you've got to laugh at shit. Like, because it's like, this is ridiculous. Like, why does this person get a push and this person doesn't? Because one other person that doesn't know shit decided it, and then the next person, and you go, and it's frustrating, and you laugh about it. You go and do the same thing. You know, it's you know, why does this person get over? Why does that band get over? You know,
right.
We have the same kind of you know, conversation, larger than life personalities, egos that are as big as freaking, you know, the Empire State Building. It's great, you know, like it makes a lot of sense, you know, to me but that I consider that the great unifier.
It really is.
It's stupid. Like, our industry's stupid.
but the thing with wrestling, like, I'll never forget, a friend of mine said to me years ago that, like, when I was training, and he just said, I asked him a question about something, and his answer was, just realize and remember, the whole business is based on a lie. I'm like, what? He's like, everything we do is a lie. We're lying to the crowd, and they're sucking it up. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of scary.
It's true, yeah, and we're excited about it, you know, and it's like it's so funny, you know, like going out and like talking about that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, when I find myself texting with like friends, like, you know, listen, and I have a lot of wonderful friends that I've had since I was a kid, but we've taken very different life paths. So like the conversations I have with those friends are very different than my friends that are in entertainment or sports entertainment or whatever. You know, it's very different because like there's certain things that I can watch that'll only make sense to this group of friends. You know, like, so if I'm sitting there watching something like this, I'm gonna text this buddy because this will make sense to.
Doesn't it suck though? Like, you have like these, like, I have lifelong friends from the time I was 5 years old, but they don't get it. They're like not involved in any of that stuff. And it's like, you want to share that stuff with them, but it's like, they don't fucking get it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, they don't have the same. I was trying to see if I could find it. Wait a second. Wait a minute. I was just cleaning out the studio. I have an old WWF magazine, and it has it has a Shawn Michaels. Oh, hang on. Wait, here it is. Yeah, I was cleaning out the studio and I found this gem. Look at that. I have that hanging on the wall. Like that. It's just like my whole pop cultural like zone down here. But yeah, but I found that the other day when I was cleaning stuff out, you know, and going through the like every now and again I'll clean out the studio, and I have like an eBay store called Adam's Joad's Emporium. And like, and I'll just sell random things on there, like for no reason. Like, and it's something. And I was like, that came up. I was like, yeah, I'm not selling that. There's some things I'm like, okay, it's time to get rid of this. This is no. And, you know, it's pretty funny or, you know, like just the random ass stuff.
Now here, look at this. Here's my buddy, Jonathan Owen. That's a cool magazine. Now, Jonathan, I've known this guy. He used to be front row ECW.
Oh, nice.
Longtime wrestling friend. And I hadn't seen him in years. I just saw him when I was in Delaware last year. But I was involved with this show back in May in Philly at the arena. And fucking my boy Jonathan, he was fucking buying me and Sabu shots of fucking tequila all afternoon. We were fucking tanking up, boy.
Yeah, man, that's another thing that has definitely fallen to the wayside as I've gotten older. I'll be like, I don't want to feel like crap the next day. Like, you know, like, you know, it's like this hurts. You know, my back hurts today. You know, I was that you were talking about. Did I ever tell you my my story about when we played the Gathering of the Juggalos? Did I ever tell you that?
No.
Okay, so we got on the Gathering of the Juggalos, and I don't know if you. Like, so my whole thing with the Juggalo culture is an interesting place. I started out being all in, then I got jaded real quickly, and then I just needed to get back to my hotel. And I didn't even, and the whole reason I was excited is because they had pro wrestling there and Sandman was going to be there. I was like, man, how's he going to make his entrance in a field at the Gathering of the Juggalos? Because it's all about the entrance with Sandman.
Sure.
If there's no proper entrance, then it's like, what's the point of this? This is, and it was just funny. And I didn't make it there long enough because it just, I got completely jaded. I just was like, I don't have any cell phone service. There's all these people painted like clowns that are doing drugs. There's no security. And this sucks. I don't want to, I'm done.
That's the point where you realize you're getting older now.
Yeah. I was like, this sucks. And it's so funny. And I won't say the band's name, but so we played obviously during the afternoon because we're not like a big enough band that we're on the main stage and playing, in the prime slots. But so one of my friends was in one of those bands, and he told me. So we were both like kind of at the same hotel, and I get some texts from him about like 3 a.m. Now I've been sitting here watching TV now at this time, couldn't sleep, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm done," and he was coming back, and I was like, "What happened?" And he told me that during their set. He was like, they were just throwing 2-liter jugs of Faygo, not even spraying the Faygo, just jugs of it. And he said they started a fire in the mosh pit, and somebody came in and threw a propane tank in it.
Oh my God.
And he was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm no more like it.
Holy shit.
He was like, I'm out. No, I don't know how that transpires. Like somebody just basically threw a mortar in because there's no security. It's a free for all. It was, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely old Adam now. That's not where I want to be with this stuff.
Old Adam. I'm happier just sitting in my chair with my bourbon and getting up to flip my vinyl.
It was funny because we were split. Our drummer Grant and I went back to the hotel, and Rich and Adam stayed. And it was funny because Rich said he was waiting to see Gilbert Godfrey when Gilbert Godfrey was still alive. And Rich said he fell asleep in the van before Gilbert got on stage anyway. So
Gilbert Godfrey was there?
He was there. Yeah, what a random thing, right? There's Gilbert Godfrey, Sandman. I mean, on paper, this sounds like the most amazing thing in the world, right? And then whenever you see it in practice, you're like, this is like a, freaking 80s Up All Night thing, and then quickly devolves, but then the reality of it sets in and you're like, oh,
it is on paper an Adam Joad fucking pop culture dream.
Oh, yeah, everything sounds great about it. And they made me sit in the van because I guess I was being a grumpy head. I was because there's a lot of I love real hip hop and rap. I'm a big fan of the culture and stuff, but there's just so many everybody there was a rapper basically. Everybody's a rapper. You walk to the hotel, there's people trying to give you yo man, you want to check out my CD? No, I don't. It's and I don't mean that to be disrespectful, but I know that you paid to have those pressed, and I'm literally just going to throw it away when I go upstairs. So I don't want to, you and your stuff. But there was this one guy, and he was he was a big white rapper guy. And he was and not there's anything wrong with white rappers. I don't mean that. I'm just trying to set the tone so you can picture it.
It doesn't start off too well.
Right. So, and he's sitting there and he's got a posse with him, and his posse looks fierce. I'm going to tell you what, those guys look I was like, these dudes are legit, but then there's him who, he looks suspect, and he starts telling me, he goes,
he's B-Rad from Malibu.
Yeah. Hang on. This is what we're getting at, right? So, He comes up and he's and he stands over me I'm putting my guitar and he's like, yo, what's up, man? I'm like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, he goes, yeah. He goes, I'm a bouncer when I don't do this. And I'm like, cool, man. It's where do you bounce? And he's like, hey, I work with professional fighters. You know what I mean? This is not I'm gonna a sparring dummy for UFC. So I'm like, cool, man, that's neat, and I was like, well, where do you bounce? And he goes, I work at a microbrew. And I'm like,
a microbrew.
So I repeated back to him. I was like, so you're a bouncer at a microbrew? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, bet shit gets hard there.
Right?
and,
Dangerous.
and you can see Rich. Rich is listening to the whole conversation. Rich is like, oh, fuck, Adam's going to say something and really like this guy. And so then I took it a step further. And now I want to know more. I'm like, where's your microbrew located? He goes, Connecticut. And I'm like, so you're a bouncer at a microbrew in Connecticut? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. Yeah. And Rich just grabs me by the arm and he's like, you need to go sit in the van until we go on stage. He's like, you're not allowed to talk to anybody else. I was like, what? I'm just asking questions. He introduced himself as a bouncer. I mean, maybe he might be the freaking Dalton of bouncing in Connecticut. Maybe he's from the heart. But it was just really funny because, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, why are you telling me this? Like, that was the first thing in the conversation. Like, was like you were just telling me how hard you were, you know. And I was like, okay, cool, man. You know, it's yeah, all right, brother. It's like,
Oh shit.
yeah. That's like, okay, man. I'm not yeah, I'm not freaking Randy Couture squeezed my head till I felt like it was gonna pop like a pimple. I'm not worried about the bounce.
At the microbrew.
At a microbrew. I'm like, I'm not saying you're not going to hurt me, but I'm not really worried about it. I'm just like, I'm just like, all right, whatever. Been knocked out before. You wake up eventually, you get a headache and another concussion.
Too funny.
Yeah, that was funny though. But anyway, that was about the end of my. Rich was like, you're not allowed to talk to people. I'm like, what, man? I wanted to hear all about the
microbrew.
The microbrew mean streets in Connecticut. How many?
See, now that could be a new song for you.
Yeah, that would be. I want to go to that microbrew if he still works there. That would be amazing just to go there. Just checking my ID.
Too funny.
Maybe I didn't get to see his set, but I did see at the gathering. There's another one. This is a funny. There was like somebody put their kid on stage while a rapper was going, and I'm like, I'm telling you, this kid was like had to be like 5, right? And they passed the kid the mic, and the kid's rapping, "Fuck that shit up." Like, is this? I was like, do they need to call like children and youth services? Doesn't seem like a great path to start a child on.
Wow.
Like, there's a 5-year-old on stage and he's rapping, "Fuck that shit up," and I'm like, that's kind of amazing and horrible at the same time. And I don't know. Yeah, I got to give a quick shout out though. This is Wrecking Ball Legursky. You familiar with him? He's wrestling the NWA now. And this is his headband. You can get these at his official NWA store. And,
nice.
He's a good dude. I was texting.
I wonder what that's like working with Billy Corgan.
I asked him that. From what I've had a few friends and they said he's really nice. You know, like
yeah, that's what I hear.
And we just did his music for him. You know, we did the Wrecking Ball theme.
Oh, cool.
You know, and yeah, so it's pretty cool. It sounds like from what I understand, you know, it sounds like Billy's really passionate about pro wrestling, and he is. Yeah, and he, you know, he appreciates the art of it, and you know, he's trying to run the business the best he can. That's freaking awesome, you know. Like so it's. I mean, it's still wild. It's just wild, like that. You know, the Billy from Smashing Pumpkins is like your boss, right? Like that just.
It's, you know, there's. Did you see? There's I forget what one of these streaming services. He actually did like a reality show about it. It's like a 10-part series, and I mean, I lived that nightmare of trying to make a independent wrestling promotion work, and I mean, it's so hard and so much money, and you know, I mean, I love his passion for it and what he's doing, and I know people that work for him. I know people work for him in the office. I know some of the boys and the girls, and yeah,
they were on point though, man. And I gotta say, like, you know, when you're dealing with like doing a theme song, you know, they had comments to the song that we did for them and stuff, you know, and as an artist, you know, when somebody's making comments and it's a suit, you know, or I don't know if they're in suits, but in my head they're all in suits.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm just like, what the fuck do they know? And then, like, when I actually, like, dove into it and I listened to what they had to say, I was like, no, they know what the purpose of a wrestling theme song is. Like, it's not a regular song. Like, it has to hit fast. It has to hit hard. It has to work for TV. And it has to be in a certain amount of time. and all their comments were based on that, and they were very knowledgeable. And, you know, we made the edits accordingly. And I was like, yeah, that made a better theme song. You know, I don't write theme songs. I write Scattered Hamlet songs, you know, so
right.
It's pretty cool, you know, to kind of get that back. And I was like, these people, you know, I had a healthy respect for, you know, that stuff after I got off my ego horse for a minute, you know, and was like, no, that what they're saying absolutely makes a lot of sense. And that's pretty cool. You know, I mean, I like.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's funny you say that because I just watched WWE, and when I watch it each week on Monday nights or these PLEs they do now, whenever somebody comes out, I can just tell by the song if that person's going to be over or not.
Yeah, makes sense. You're right.
It's so like I don't know if you watch right now, but this guy Jacob Fatu, Jacob should be and could be a star, but his song just doesn't work for him as they're trying to push him as a face, and it's this slow, methodical thing. But then you have these other ones where instantly it's got the woes and the who's, and it's got the crowd to sing along with it. It puts them over.
And that's the great that, like, Wrecking Ball, that was what he told me. You know, it's like he didn't just tell us make it. He called me on the phone and told me what he wanted, you know, like, and it's like, okay, so now I'm not making a song for us. I'm trying to make you the song that you want that's going to represent what you're after. And it was really cool. It was a fun thing to do that because I had never worked like that before, you know, like where you're talking to, you know, somebody and, you know, like, and he has a vision in his head and then we have to, you know, make that, you know, come to life, you know, so it represents like his whole, you know, character and stuff. I liked it. It was a lot of fun. You know, it was definitely, I like, you know, different kind of things and challenges like that, you know, and because in the other stuff we've had that's been, you know, we've had stuff in movies, video games and stuff like that. They're just taking your song that you already did and they're cutting it up and using pieces of it. I didn't make those for that, you know? So it's kind of neat to just be like, okay, this song has a purpose and this is what the purpose is, you know? And it was pretty neat, you know, hopefully get to do some more of them, you know. And if you watch him when he comes out and you're like, man, this song sucks, he's not going to get over, then that's our fault.
Blame it on the Juggalos. You had a flashback or something.
They probably would have good songs because they're like, all fuck that shit up. You need a 5-year-old to say fuck that shit up.
That's it.
That'd be a posse.
Yeah, I mean, a 5-year-old singing "fuck that shit up" is going to get the crowd. It's going to get you over.
I would think so. Might not. I don't know. Yeah, that would be incredible.
Yeah, awesome. Especially if you put it on TikTok and have ChatGPT transcribe it for you.
You know that would be. What is that? That's funny. Yeah, I was just yeah, that would be. Yeah, ChatGPT. Sometimes it's that thing cracks me up, man. I get into that. But the whole Terminator, we're still fiercely analog, man. We still are like, you know. We played at festival with a couple of summers back, maybe when the Pantera reunion first started happening with, you know, Charlie and Zach, and we were on the same day as them at Rockfest, which is pretty cool to listen to them sound check Cowboys from Hell. Yeah,
sure,
freaking incredible to be the only people in an arena while they're you know, like, you know, like, yes, you know, that's freaking incredible. But it was pretty awesome. But it was funny because the bands that were still using like real amplifiers and real like old school Marshalls and stuff like that, we were definitely in the minority. Like Zach used it, you know, and I think Orianthi did, we did, and I think there was like 2 other bands that actually had real amps. Everybody else had like computer modeling stuff, you know. And it was
so crazy,
it's so wild, you know. In ears, like it was like a whole. And I'm like of course I walk around town. I'm like Skynet's gonna get. It's like the Terminators are coming. You guys are using computers disguised as amplifiers.
Well, I remember I went to a show one time when I was still living in Philly. So this was like 6-7 years ago. I went and saw a show at a club, and it was a band like your guys' level. And I watched the one guitar player beforehand. He was plugging his phone in, and it wasn't a charger. He was plugging it into his fucking rack and everything. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like.
Yeah, I mean, we're simple. Like we go over and if the head breaks and it doesn't, you turn it off. You like put another one up there. You know. But now, when we're loading that out and loading in and loading it out of the big trailer, you're like, okay, I kind of see why you do that. But it was like, but at the same time, I was like, I want that Marshall stack behind me. You know,
yeah.
I want the air to move. You know, like I like it, and that's what our band is, so, maybe if I was in a different operation, I would consider it. Probably not. I'd probably still be a fierce butthead with analog stuff, but yeah, it is what it is.
Well, you guys are hitting the road. You got some shows coming up through the rest of the year. You guys are here in October and back in Nashville.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. It's been a minute since we came to Nashville.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been like 3-4 years.
It's been a minute. Yeah, it was just we just couldn't. It wasn't for lack of trying. Being that it's a music town, you have to. Everybody wants venues on certain nights and stuff. And with our tour routing, there was always a conflict or something. We just couldn't make it work. So we're like, oh, okay, we'll just skip Nashville and go somewhere else, And I mean, we rehearsed, down in Columbia most of the time.
I was going to say, yeah, you guys are kind of based out of here.
Yeah, pretty much. It's we depending on where the first show is, we either come up to where I am or we go down there, and we've been recording. We record our drums down there all the time. We have a night, so we always do the drum tracking down there. And but I do most of my guitar tracking and vocal tracking in this studio usually, myself. Okay. And but yeah, so we're down there all the time. It's pretty crazy, and it's really wild because when we play there, I see all the people that I used to see when we played on the Sunset Strip, which is wild because everybody from LA moved to Nashville.
They're all here.
They all either moved to Nashville or to Austin, Texas. So it's kind of weird. You play in Austin, it's like, oh, those are all. It's like all the people that I saw, 15 years ago when I lived in Los Angeles. It's kind of wild.
Why haven't you moved here?
It's still a city, man. And I haven't done the big city thing with living in LA and stuff. And I know it's not LA, but I'm just, I'm a mile down the road when I moved back, my grandma was still alive. So I was just a mile down the road from my mom and grandma. I could help out with them. I live in the same hometown I did. And, it's dirt cheap to live here. It's like so I can things like, hey, I got to park the van and trailer. It's like, cool. I just stick it in the yard. It's
right.
And I know everybody, I know the mechanics to go to, I know the police department, it's just, I don't know, it's easy right now, but that doesn't mean it won't be, forever. I don't think this, will probably, end up somewhere else. I'm not sure exactly where, but yeah, I've thought about it. And, but the price of living's going up pretty high there too with everybody. It's crazy.
It's so insane. And it's funny because my job, I do catering for a place.
Okay.
So I go to all these fucking high-rise offices downtown and to these big fucking companies. And dude, these offices, I walk out of it. I say to my girlfriend and I say to the people I work with, I'm like, what do they fucking do? Because I just see people sitting around and they have some of these offices and it's literally, they have a Starbucks in their office.
That's wild.
Like a legitimate Starbucks, their own barista. There was one place I walked into, and this was a music fucking company. It was a religious music fucking label.
Okay.
They had a full goddamn bar.
No shit.
Dude, this bar was bigger than the Cobra's bar.
Wow.
In the middle of their lobby. I'm like, what is going on? These places have the most elaborate setups.
That's crazy.
Full window views of the city. And nobody does nothing. They just sit around and eat. Every day they have catered food from another company. And I'm just like, I walk out of there and I'm Googling the name of these companies. I'm like, can I work there? Because they don't do nothing. I'm qualified to do nothing.
Yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
We always used to, so when we lived in Huntington Beach, I always used to say that, because it was gorgeous there. You just go outside. I'm like, what do these people do for a living? They were always surfing or just hanging out.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do they do? I'm like, because this is not a cheap place to live.
I mean, these people are in the music business. There's no music business no more. What are they doing?
That's what's. No, I love that. I love when it now, you talk about every now and again, I'll be someone be like, yeah, man, we work for this label. We want to talk to you. I'm like, what do you do? And they can't explain it. I'm like, so I was like, listen, I was like, I'm not saying no, but I need to know what you do before I just give you
Right.
I was like, am I going to make the same amount of money and just give you, this percentage of it, because that doesn't sound awesome to me,
I went to Apple Music the other day. Like they're
Okay.
set up in an old building
All
that
right.
there's no markings of Apple Music. So you wouldn't even know Apple Music is there, right?
Yeah.
So I go in this building, I meet the guy. He fucking brings me down into the basement and I'm setting everything up and he's talking to me and he's wearing a Guns N' Roses shirt. And I'm thinking to myself, he's probably in his late 30s, early 40s. So I'm like, hell of a job. Like I'm thinking, this guy does nothing. I wonder how much money he makes, right? So then he says, this girl comes in and she's like, yeah, he's on the first song. He's just started his performance. I'm like, oh, who's performing? He's like, Cole Swindell. I'm like,
shit. Okay. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even know who that is. I'm thinking to myself, I have to go outside and Google and see he's got 2 million social media followers. I'm like, he must be a big to do.
Yeah, he's a big deal. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, they come in and we have a studio and they'll go in the studio, they'll do a performance for everybody.
That's awesome.
Then they come out here and we do photo shoots and all, and then they go and eat my food. I'm like, oh, but what do you do?
What do you do? Yeah,
like,
we've established what he does.
Yeah, you like met me. I set the food up, and you just wheeled me up and down the elevator. Like, how much do you get? I'm thinking to myself, how much you get paid?
Yeah, like, I have a buddy that I won't call him out on here, but he'll know I'm talking about him. He's gonna bitch at me, but I'm still gonna call him out. But he works for like a music distribution company, which and they have like certain artists and stuff, and like he was in charge of the Outlaw Country division. Now, if you could pick any of my friends that know nothing about Outlaw Country, he would be like in that group of people. Like, what the fuck? Like, and it's funny because what they consider Outlaw Country now is like that country rap stuff, which is like.
Right.
I get you tell me Outlaw Country. I think Merle Haggard. I think of like Alan Coe. I don't think of like trailer rap.
Jelly Roll.
Yeah. Which is huge. So it's like, but that's like what their focus was. So maybe he does know a great deal about that. I don't know anything, but it was funny but I don't know what he does there. I have no fucking idea. I know like. Because we were distributed through there, so I know that like when we call up and have a problem with like Spotify, he would tell somebody else to fix it. It's like job, like so you call the engineers downstairs and they fix the problem, like so you're like that guy.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's so pretty funny.
Well, it's like you're speaking of Jelly Roll, and look, I love Jelly Roll, and I think he's an amazingly talented dude.
Yeah,
but I went to because now he has a honky tonk.
Yeah,
of course. So. Me and my girl, we went there like a month ago to go check it out. And I was like, this is the like worst like representation. Like there's like I walked through the ground floor, went up to the rooftop. I'm like, there's nothing here that tells me this is Jelly Roll's place.
Right.
There's no pictures of him on the wall, no fucking gold albums, no representation at all to tell me this is Jelly Roll's place.
Yeah, you'd think that and the honky tonk thing too. It's like, now I'll take you to honky tonk around here where there's like there's a stage in the corner and they have a pig there. The pig is there and it's in the bar and like and it's the place where you walk in and everybody's gonna go and look at you and be like, who the fuck are you? Like,
right. And you're gonna pay $2 a fucking beer.
Yes, yeah. and one of the guys might try to fight you too. That's probably gonna happen. But that's all part of the course, and there's probably and it's like Roadhouse. I have my Roadhouse beer koozie back here somewhere, like from the Double D. I have like one note. Rich actually made it. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, that's what it like. You need Jeff Healy behind freaking chicken wire and stuff. Oh, you know what? Speaking of bands, I got to give this a shout out. I don't get to watch many shows to like go see it and enjoy the show. And the other day I was down in Morgantown, West Virginia, and I went and saw Clutch play.
Okay.
They killed it. Like it was really cool to like see a Clutch show, the only other time I'm a big Clutch fan. The only other time I had seen them is like when we were on like the same festival and I wasn't enjoying the show. I was selling merch and, doing business things, so it was kind of like not very, but I like to actually go and like listen to, like Neil talk to everybody. It's amazing. Like he reminds me like his performing, he should be like a preacher at one of those, like those trucker, like chapels that are in like at the truck stops. I don't know if you guys spend much time at truck stops, but I spent a lot of time. But sometimes they have these chapels, and I've never been in one, but I picture in that chapel there'd be like a Neil Fallon in there, like talking to you like very earnestly about like all these things. Like, did you not know that the royal hunting grounds are always forbidden? And things like that.
They actually have chapels in truck stops?
Yeah, like some of the big ones, they'll have like trucker like chapels stuff, like the world's biggest truck stop and stuff. They have like chapels, like so.
Really?
Yeah, so I picture whoever's at some of the barber shops in them, like they have like some of the truck stops have. We stopped at one and freaking Blackberry Smoke was playing there. Like they had like a jamboree or something. Like so.
Really?
Yeah, some truck stops are legit, and then other ones there's just meth heads that'll rob you.
So yeah, right.
Runs the gamut. The only time I pulled a pistol on somebody on tour, meth head at a truck stop, and where was it? It was in Nitro, West Virginia, all the way down, like almost in Kentucky, like down.
Wow.
Meth men, like running around trying to, they're like rabid and stuff. It's like, get away from the van, get now.
Oh, too funny.
I put the little red dot, around his feet. I didn't like actually go full on him. I just threw the red dot, makes him run away. Hey, meth heads run fast when the red dot comes out. They're like fucking Jesse Owens, or like, what's the one guy who won all the sprinting things?
Was it Jesse Owens?
Usain Bolt.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Usain Bolt. That'd be better than Jesse Owens.
Yeah.
That's a more modern reference. It's probably only from 20 years ago instead of 40.
Too funny.
That's good shit.
Well, dude, I guess scatteredhamlet.com to get all the details, tour dates, etc.
Yeah, we're on all your whatever, like Bay and I are talking, like whatever social media platform you use, we're on them all now. Scattered Hamlet, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you want to check us out. We try to keep them all up to date with the same information. So whatever one, you check out, you can find stuff about us.
And how about the, I guess that's another, like streaming, like there's like 100 different services, but everybody uses one, right?
We're on all of them, Spotify, obviously, we spend the most time on, but we put our stuff out on everyone. We do have a special one coming up, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but I will. So Phil Anott of the Mighty Thin Lizzy is his birthday's in August.
Okay.
And I told you we recorded cover songs. Well, we have a special song that's coming out on his birthday that's from our cover series. So next month in August, I think it's August 20th. For Phil and Lynott, I don't know. I'm not Irish. I can't figure this out. How do you pronounce that correctly? Thin Lizzy, we do have, we're going to be releasing a song in honor of his birthday, and it's a cover song. So obviously it's a Thin Lizzy song. So I'm not going to tell you what. So it'll be fun. Actually, I was talking to the guys in Rat Rod about it, and I let Little John hear it ahead of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he goes, I want to come on stage and play this with you. I'm like, okay. It's like, we're on. He goes, I can do. I was like, I'm sure you can, and you're in. He's like, I'm going to hold you to that. I'm like, okay, cool. As long as we can play it live, yeah.
I miss those guys.
Good.
I'm waiting. They're supposed to be putting new music out soon with their new singer.
Nice. I'm excited to hear that. Yeah, they said everything's been working out with him and stuff. So good for them. I'm glad to see they're at it and stuff. Good.
Absolutely. Cool.
Sorry,
cool.
I interrupted your whole outro.
No. Yeah, you know what? I actually I just realized too. I actually not only did I, thanks to ChatGPT, put myself on Spotify, but I put myself on Patreon now.
Oh, good.
And I have to give shout outs to my first two patrons. I guess that's what you call them.
We should do patron saints. Patron saints.
Patron saints. I like that.
Yeah, I like that. Of awesome.
Yeah. So my first two patron saints are shout out to Vanessa and Stan. Thank you guys.
Vanessa and Stan, yes. Thank you guys for supporting cool stuff like this. It's podcasting's great, man. The whole thing. I listen to most of my stuff like this now, and
I'm surprised you don't have a podcast.
Yeah, I know. It's on my list of things to do. If you could keep me focused on one topic, because I could go off. I'm about to show you my old dirty bastard prayer candle that's up here. I could take us into a whole Wu-Tang Clan thing, but yeah, if you could keep me on task, I would need a co-host to keep me on task.
Well, you and your wife at one time were starting to do all types of fun stuff.
Yeah, I could get her back in on it too. That would, because she's we did that Hot Wings one. I think that
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that like that cleaned out my inside. Like I had to. This is probably too much information, but like I had to have like shit removed. Like they were non-cancerous, thank you. But I blame the hot wings and the Malort. I believe this put tumors in me that I had to get removed and stuff.
That didn't remove it.
No, it was not. I think that caused it. That's what I believe. Like I think that caused it from those hot wings. I still have that Zach Wilde's hot sauce that I ate. It's funny because I'm so not good at eating hot foods. That's why it was hilarious to get me to do it, because like you give me anything and I think it's spicy. I'm like the whitest, like vanilla, like white bread, white guy, like in the world. Like, so you give me something with like spice on it. Like that just shut me down. Like I was like, dude, in a fetal position, dying.
I put hot sauce on everything.
I can't do it. I can't. Here, hang on. Check this out. This is it comes in a road case. My Berserker hot sauce. Like Zach Wilde had his own hot sauce. It's called like Stronger Than Death, because of course it is. It's Zach Wilde.
Right?
Than Death. Yeah. That's exactly what Zach Wilde's hot sauce should be called. You know?
Stronger Than Death.
Stronger Than Death. Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Love it.
All right. On that note, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Adam, thank you as always. Say what's up to the guys. See everybody in October.
See you in October. Yeah. We'll come out. We'll have a good time. It'll be fun.
Absolutely.